Hey there, and welcome to another Dave Does. Today we are going to be looking at the London's worst tourist traps. And do I think, as a Londoner or an ex-Londoner, I don't live in London anymore, but as a Londoner, would I think these are genuine tourist traps, or are they kind of done for videos, etc.? We're going to compare that because obviously I'm doing some videos where I'm comparing and checking out tourist traps in other countries just to see if they look something I would have maybe fallen for, etc. So I really wanted to, I've really known the fact that I've lived in London and I've probably seen many of these and have come across these. I'll be intrigued to see if I think they're genuine. So let's go check this out. This is from Love and London's channel. So let's bring that up. So there we go. So this is the Love and London channel. Just give them some shout out and love. There we go.
About London for many years now.
Just pause her over there. But lots of videos on there. 281 videos on there. Plenty of views. So yeah, make sure you go and check them out. Some good content on there. Worth having a look. But let's go back. Have a look at her video. Let me make sure I load that up. Bring it up on full screen. And yeah, let's do it. Lots of little music. Keep going.
If you're not into losing money on pointless crap, then I'm going to tell you the tourist traps that you need to avoid when you're visiting.
The only thing is, if you are touristing in a country, you tend to buy pointless crap as your mementos. So, yeah, pointless crap you do buy, but it's tacky. The trick is to go a bit further out of the main part of the city and you tend to find a better price. It's like buying stuff at airports. You never try and buy like gifty ideas at airports. Try and buy it from somewhere local.
London. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Jess and I make videos
for people who
come to visit London, and I promise they're usually a lot more popular.
So they're Trafalgar Square, that is. So you've got the Burger King behind there. That Burger King, I've eaten many a time in that Burger King, especially late at night. Always is a bit rough and ready, but it's okay. There's plenty of places to eat in London, but just expect to spend a lot of money, especially if you go a little bit further out, you do a little bit better, and there are some really good places.
Positive than this one. So Leicester Square is pretty much where good taste goes to die, in my opinion. It's lines with a bunch of the UK's worst food chains selling food that's not good. And
Chiquitos is alright. I don't mind Chiquitos. Quality, yeah, but Chiquitos generally is okay.
Also like 15 times the price that it should be. There's also M&M World here, and I don't know why anyone would come to London and go.
Yeah, M&M World. I don't get that.
M&M World has nothing to do with London or the UK. Lots of people come to London and want to experience traditional UK food, which pubs are the best place to do that at. But some of the pubs around the most touristy areas of London,
they're rough,
are not very good. They're overpriced,
very small,
and the food is really not very good at all. So how to spot
crap food
those places is if they have the words authentic and traditional plastered all over the place. It's kind of one of those things that if you have to say it, it's not actually true.
South of the river, Camden,
really nice
go those areas.
With really good food, I would suggest venturing out of the most touristy areas in central London to more of the neighborhoody areas like Notting Hill or Hackney, and you'll find lots of great neighborhood pubs there. In some touristy areas of London, you will see these rickshaws that you can get. They used to not be regulated, so what would happen was people would get into the rickshaw, go for like a 10-minute ride, and then the driver would demand a huge sum of money at the end of the ride. I think they're more regulated now, so that doesn't usually happen. However, you just really look like a silly tourist.
The other thing is London is incredibly small when you really look at it. You'll jump on the tube to go from, let's say, Leicester Square to Covent Garden, but you can walk it in about 3 minutes if you follow the signs. And London is great because it has signs everywhere. Your best bet to do in London is pick one location, get out of the train there, and then walk. You will find some amazing back road alleys. Go on, there's lots of websites that will tell you about places to visit for pubs and stuff like that, for food from Londoners that will tell you where to go. I know some amazing places, so if anyone wants to hit me up in the comments for recommendations and you want to know where to go in London, I can give you some recommendations.
When you get into one of those, and they're still very expensive, so avoid going in one of those. Near almost all of the major tourist attractions are these huge souvenir shops that are just filled with, frankly, crap that's
Crap.
made in China and will fall apart on you in just like 2 months.
But if you are after something to take home, as long as you set yourself a budget, you kind of do it. But I would, where it says like 50% sale, it's 50% sale is the price that you would expect to pay at full price, and then you want to try and take some more off that. I don't really think you can haggle in a lot of these shops. You can give it a go, but you probably won't be able to get away with a haggle. But again, if you move a little bit further out of London, you could probably get this stuff a bit cheaper. But I figure if you're here as a tourist, you want to get something as a souvenir for someone. It's better to buy it there than at the airport, which will probably be even more expensive.
So instead, I would recommend going to a place like We Built This City, which is an alternative souvenir shop, and they source all their items from local artists. You could also go to maybe a department store and get some tea, or you could do some shopping while you're here and pick out something that you'll wear for years to come and think about your London trip.
Or buy a tin of baked beans, because we all love baked beans in this country.
Okay, we're in Notting Hill now, and there's a souvenir shop here that looks very similar to the bookshop that's in the movie in Notting Hill. It even named itself with the same name, but actually has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. And rather, around the corner is the site of where the bookshop that did inspire the movie was. However, the original owners closed it down in 2011 and then was bought by a company.
Okay.
And they didn't actually even film the movie in the bookshop, so that's just a heads up for you.
So Portobello Road Market, worth going to. The markets are really good. Shepherd's Bush Market. There's a whole load of different markets. Check them out. Make sure you check when they're on, because when you go to some of these areas and they haven't got their main market on, there ain't that much to do. Notting Hill's a good one to go generally around. They start in Notting Hill, work your way along Portobello Road Market, and then you'll be able to get to a whole load of others and make your way from Portobello Road. You'll make your way all the way up to or down to Shepherd's Bush. So you get some really good places there, and that's actually a really good place. There's some nice bars, pubs, and you'll get yourself down to the big shopping centres and stuff like that.
Now, London has a lot of legitimate street performers, many of which had to audition to be able to busk in the area that they're in. But every once in a while, you'll run across these guys that are dressed up as cheesy characters or painted as lifelike statues. And then when you go up to take a picture with them, they yell at you after that you have to give them money. So just avoid taking pictures with any of these.
So that one there is take a picture at distance or ask them in advance before you do it. But you've got to remember, these guys, this is basically how they spend a lot of money on their outfits to do this. So that's how they make money. So they're not doing it for free. So I would say that's not really a scam. It's not really a tourist trap. It's just be aware of it.
These guys, unless you want to get yelled at. There are a few cafes and food spots around London that have become very popular pretty much just because they make for a very good Instagram photo.
Okay.
But the truth is that some of these places are, one, either very expensive or they just have pretty substandard food or drinks and they're not actually very special. So this place behind me is an example. It's called Peggy Portion, and you can almost any time of the day find people queuing up just to take a photo. And
I have no idea about that. I mean, I guess it's a tourist thing to take a picture in front of something and post it on. I don't really do. I have got Instagram, but I hardly ever use it. But I guess that's the thing. But I would say the pricing of food and substandard food, it's not just a London thing. I think that's any tourist location where you've got high footfall, mainly because the price of the location for rental of that particular property is always going to be high. And so because of that, they have to find cost savings, and usually it's the quality of the food that just drop and they have to put prices up. So again, make your way out of the main London areas or ask online, go to forums and stuff like that. People will always give you some great ideas of where to go.
In front of the door, or to sit down and take some photos of some cute cupcakes, but it's kind of a pretty standard place and it's pretty expensive. Okay, next up, I think that you should watch my video about the tourist attractions that I think are totally overrated, and you can do that by clicking the box that's popping up right below me. Souvenir shop here that looks like it was a shop here that tried a huge sum of money.
Mama?
Mummy.
Mama? Okay, that was cool. I liked that. not as many tourist traps as I thought you'd expect. I would have said so. From my point of view, the few things that she hasn't picked out there is, well, she talks about the pubs. Try to buy. I would say, if you keep an eye out for buying things by the bottle versus buying by the glass, because you'll save some money there if you're buying in a pub. So just have a comparison pricing. Keep an eye out again. Yeah, food. It's going to be hit and miss. I mean, there are places that I've been in London where the food was really good, and then we've gone back a month later and the food's been bad. A lot of that time it changes with the cook, because the cook changes. Avoid public transport in London. Once you get into London, walk everywhere, because black taxis will cost you. The drivers know exactly where they're going. They're very good as far as their knowledge, but you do pay a premium for a black cab. You might want to get it for the novelty of just getting one, same as like when I was in New York, I wanted to get a yellow cab, but you pay through the nose for these things. Unlicensed cabs, though, when you get out of those areas, you've got to be careful as well. Camden, definitely head up to Camden. You don't really get much. I'm trying to think of anything where I've been scammed. The Lucky Heather people, you get that in Carnaby Street still, I think. And what you'll get is people come up to you and go, "Oh, I want to give you some Lucky Heather," and you'll go, "Oh, thank you." Someone's offered you something, giving it to you, and then they basically want money off you. And then you go, "Well, I don't want it then," and then they go, "Well, you're cursed," and they say that you're going to be cursed for that. So, and that still does happen, because I know that's happened to me not that long ago. But don't worry about the curse. I'm sure it doesn't. It's not real. But yeah, just watch out for people trying to give you stuff. Camden, you'll get people giving you CDs. So that happens a lot. You'll get a lot of independent artists and stuff who've just done their own CDs, and they're trying to sell them. But they'll come up to you, hey, check out. And they'll put a CD in your hand. Then they'll try and talk to you about it, and you think you're giving you a free CD. Then they'll ask you for some money. Now, they're not asking for a lot. And actually, it's sometimes quite a good way of supporting artists. I've bought a few. Someone did like a short movie, and they'd done, and I gave some money to them. It's a good way of supporting independence, but just again, you just got to be aware of it up there in London. But that's mainly those Carnaby Street and Camden are those areas. But if you haven't been to Camden, go to Camden. If you're going to the World's End pub in Camden, just watch out. Prices for beers in the World's End are very expensive, but it is an experience to go there. As a lot of still regulars go there, but if you're into metal and rock, there are other pubs along there that you could go and check out, which would be just as good. That's it from me on this video. If you hope you enjoyed it, and as always, this is exactly how Dave does it.